Hello, Reds from around the world. Wherever you are watching, put down your phones, put down whatever you're doing, sit down, relax, and we're going to spend the next hour talking about nothing but the club that make us miserable but make us happy the odd time, the wonderful, the exceptional Manchester United. And speaking of wonderful and exceptional, and with the only person I know with a dog in the Euro race, it's the wonderful Jordan. How are you doing to the left of me, Jordan?
Do you know what? I'm really good. It's a United show, but I'm happy Wales are playing today, and I'm going to put a sock in Goldbridge's mouth when we get a nice 2-0 win later. So I'm feeling in great spirits, and it's always good to see you, my friend.
It's always a pleasure to see you, and it's always a pleasure to be with someone who wants to put a sock in Goldbridge's mouth. You're speaking for the masses when you say that. And guys, wherever you're watching around the world, get in those comments, get your thoughts in, spread the love, spread the joy. I won't lie, when I was going to bed last night, I was over the moon knowing myself and Jordan were going to be having a show today. But I was like, what are we going to talk about? It seemed to be just Sancho. That's all we got. That's what I realized was going on. And then, boom, just a lot of news has come in over the last 24 hours. On this show, we're going to be talking Tony Martial, Donny van de Beek, and, of course, Mr. Sancho. What position we're at now with that. But with Anthony Martial, revelations coming out last night that there could be an option that he is on the way out. Seemingly, Real Madrid are looking. There's words going around the world that Real Madrid are looking for a season-long loan plus an option to buy. This is huge if this happens. It's not what I expected to happen. I thought we were going to have Martial for at least one more season to prove himself, and I was happy having the fight between Martial, Cavani, and Greenwood for that number 9 spot, but this is big. Jordan, where do you fall on this? Is this something you'd be happy to see happen, or are you against it?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm frustrated with Martial. I really am. He had an amazing half a season, the season before last. Started this season as the number 9, and just couldn't keep Cavani out of that team. I really don't think he is a number 9, but the proof is in the pudding. I think he should go out on loan, play some games and see where it is. It's sink or swim. I do feel like he would be more suited to the Spanish or the Italian league, and I think we would see more out of him. But ultimately, across it, he's just been riddled with inconsistencies across the time he's been with us. There's been moments of absolute brilliance, and there's been other times when he's just sort of sulked and moped around. So yeah, I do feel the time is now to make a decision on whether he is going to be a success at United or he is going to move on. He's an asset in the team. He's worth money. He's one of the few players that we can sell on and actually make some money on. So yeah, Real Madrid, I think, would be a great move for him.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. And guys, get your thoughts in the comments. Do you want Martial to stay? Do you want him to go? Are you agreeing? A lot of people agreeing with Jordan. If you disagree as well, get your thoughts in. For me, I am absolutely sick and tired of Martial. And I've never fallen into the line of that thing of like, he sulks on the pitch and stuff like that. That's never been, look, however you hold your body is how you hold your body, okay? And I've never looked into it that way. But facts are facts, okay? When he arrived, big money at the time, 35 million. I can't believe that's not big money anymore. But he hit it with a bang, obviously, the debut against Liverpool. He got us to the FA Cup final, that goal against Everton. And then for about a year or so, 18 months, he seemed like we had a real gem here, okay? And then you can look, he's had injuries, he's fallen out with managers, and all of these I felt were a bit of excuses for a player who just wasn't up to scratch. He was never going to be a number 9. He was coming off the wing, and that's fine. He is a winger, but for me, Rashford is better. But then you go to last season, you're like, we have it here. We have it here. We have a player here. And then when Scholes came out last season, the end of last season, saying, well, it's time for him to be consistent. And people were losing their mind. They were saying, oh, this is another ex-Man United player who can't be a pundit. But he's been right.
Yeah, he's right.
He's been 100% right, and the proof is in the pudding, as you said. It's like, it's constantly inconsistent, And the thing was, if he scored, there's so many opportunities, like, what was it, against PSG, when everyone looks at that game for the Fred, obviously, so Ollie should have taken Fred off, fine. But there's another big thing in that where Martial could have put us, I think it was 2-0 up or 2-1 up with an open goal, and then absolutely fluffed it. So for me, I think it comes down to psychology. For you, what is it that's making him so inconsistent?
Yeah, psychology, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think the one thing you want to look at is similar to what's happened with Shaw. What Martial struggles with is competition. When Ibrahimovic came into the club, he couldn't raise his game. Cavani's coming to the club. He couldn't raise his game and take himself to that next level. With Shaw, Tellers came to the club. And Shaw looked at it and was like, no, like, it's not happening. Stepped his game up and he's gone on to be one of our better players. And that's what we needed from Martial. Martial should have looked at it and gone, okay, Cavani, you've had a great career, but you're at my club. I'm the number 9. I'm stepping up and I'm doing what I need to do. And he just doesn't seem to do it. He just disappears in games, really big games. He's got all the ability to be one of the best players in the world. But what he seriously lacks is consistency. And unfortunately, where we are in the league and the challenges that we face around us, we can't have players in key positions that are riddled with inconsistencies.
Yeah. And what do you think? Okay, first of all, if we're as like you said, we're a club we just can't have that. We need a player like Martial who will ideally, because he is not a starter next season. Cavani has signed that new contract to be our starter, but we need someone who can come on, 75 minutes if we're chasing the game, run at players and get a goal. And he's just never going to be that player. And if we look at our, we're a club as well that if we send players out on loan over the age of 25 or around that age, it's really just to get rid of them. But do you see if he goes over to Madrid and rips it up there, is there a future for him, or is it just a case, we can get a good fee from now?
Look, I think it's common knowledge that Barcelona and Real Madrid are absolutely broke as a joke. So all they're doing is wheeling and dealing in the free transfer market, loans, and trying to nick a squad to try and put together a title challenge for next season because they've lost the league to Atletico. So a deal where someone like Martial goes on loan to Real Madrid with a view to buy probably is the best we're going to get at the moment from someone like that. There isn't going to be a ton of clubs screaming out to throw 40, 50 million at Martial at the moment. I think going to the Spanish league, I say he can look like an absolute world beater. Could imagine him in that white kit, running in the Bernabeu with all that space, all that time on the ball. He'll look like an absolute world beater. And hopefully then a year later, once the clubs have recovered financially, we'll be in a position where we can actually get a decent money for him. Yeah,
I think that's a great shout as well. I really don't. If this deal goes ahead, it still is a big if. I still would be a little bit surprised because I do think we do need a third striker, and I don't really know who that's going to be if not Martial. But for you, if this does happen, if he's gone alone, it's just Cavani. Well, I suppose Rashford as well. We can say can play number 9 if we need him to. But do you see us going in the market for a striker? Or do you see us just being happy with kind of having the 2 lads and then bring people in if we need to, like the likes of Rashford?
Yeah. I think that's more like it at the moment. I think we've got a list of priority positions that we need to sort. I think for me, a striker would probably be 4th on the list of priorities. So, yeah, I wouldn't be going out trying to do another deal. We know our board's limitations on the amount of deals that we can do in a transfer window. I mean, the saga with Sancho has been going on for 11 years. It's longer than the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So I think we need to move Martial on while he still holds a value. If we wait another year, that's another year into his contract that he is. That means his value drops less. If he has another season like he's had this season, riddled with inconsistencies and injuries, again, that is going to affect his value. So now's the time to do it. But let me throw something at you. There was talk about us, would we potentially look to offer Pogba for Varane? What about Martial for Varane? Because I'm telling you now, if that's a deal to be done, I will drive him to the Bernabeu myself.
A lot of people in the comments would say the same thing as well, and that's what they are throwing it out there. Varane for Martial, and a lot of people have been saying, I think Fabrizio Romano has been saying that the kind of future, especially in the market we're in now, is swap deals more so than or swap deals plus a bit of money. So would you see it as a direct swap, Martial for Varane, or would you think it'd be Martial plus money for Varane?
I think Martial for Varane is a good straight swap. I would take that. You look at Real, not sure what's happening with Bale. They need another person in that position. So yeah, I think a straight swap suits both parties. Varane's not happy. We can offer him the money that he wants. I think that's an easy straight swap.
Well, myself and Goldbridge had a show there the other day, and we were discussing Varane coming. He doesn't believe Varane is coming to the club. I am more in the camp of blind optimism that he will come to the club. But if you were going to give percentages now, and everyone in the comments, get your percentages in. What is the likelihood, do you think, of Varane coming if it means Martial is going the other way? What would you say?
Sorry, I missed that. Sorry, it cut out.
Percentage-wise, what do you think the likelihood of Varane coming in a swap deal for United, or coming at all, do you think?
Look, if I was negotiating it and I was sitting down with the board, I could get that deal done. Trust me, I could talk him into doing that deal. With our board, I'm not confident. I'm really not confident they're going to get that deal done. But in terms of on paper, I think, you can look 67% chance that if you actually propose that deal, I think Real would look at it and go, we've got a player that doesn't want to be here, and they've got a player that we want here. So it actually makes sense for both parties. So let me just read this super chat that's just come up now. Johnny moaning about Martial being inconsistent, but Rashford is no better. Rashford, since his debut 5 years ago, has had the most game time of any player bar De Gea. What do you make of that?
I would disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think people like I'm going to say like stats. Obviously, like he's our second top goal scorer, second top assister. What's this? Martial is inconsistent. He's barely played under Mourinho, and when he did, he saved Mourinho's job. The only bad season he had was due to injuries. I would disagree with that.
I disagree with that.
And that's the kind of we get that. And thanks for commenting in. But we get that kind of narrative a lot from Martial fans. That is kind of like, oh, the manager was against them, injuries, blah blah blah. Look, Rashford had the same problem with Mourinho, but was still an integral part of the team. Do you know what I mean? Martial is Martial is inconsistent, one of the most talented players at the club, but another one of these players who is class on his day, and those days are too far between at this point.
I agree with you. We've got a lot of players, that on their day they are world beaters, and we are, one of the best teams in Europe. But unfortunately, those days, like you say, are few and far between. And over the course of a 38-game season, we don't have enough of them, which is why we finish so far away from Man City.
Yeah, constantly, because that's the only consistent we have is that our players are inconsistent, and especially Martial, unfortunately. And what you were saying as well and guys, if this is happening, would you want to go for Varane? I know people were saying that, but is there any other option you'd look at? A striker maybe coming in to what's the update on Sancho? We'll be touching that at the end, Aidan. Thanks for the commenting in, though. If you're looking at a different player coming in to replace Martial, get your thoughts in the comments of who that player is. We want to hear from you. For me, I do have kind of a worry when it comes to look. I was looking forward to going the season with that, striker position, that lone striker. I was happy with being Cavani starting, and I was happy with Greenwood playing the odd game up front, up top, in the League Cup or whatever. Whenever he's called upon, and then playing on the right as well. Hopefully, have Sancho there, but the two of them fighting for that position. I was really happy with that, and then having Martial as well. I was happy to have that battle. So I would say I'm a little bit worried because we saw what happened with Liverpool. That injuries can decimate a club. Like one injury can take it apart very, very easy. If Cavani, who does have problems with injuries, gets them in, that could be a serious problem. What's this? Jordan, what do you think of the free agent Hakan's performance? He could be a replacement for Pogba, who will leave this summer or maybe next. Also, thoughts on Lacanetti's performance, could be our next CDM. What are your thoughts there, Jordan?
Yeah, for me, there's only one Pogba replacement. If Pogba leaves, we have to go and get Grealish. That's it. I don't see anyone else. That is the player that we need to get. And in terms of CDM, do you know what? Like everyone talks about Rice being the CDM. There are so many other options around Europe that we could get in that will do a much better job than McFred. There's so many, all levels of value. We don't have to go and spend 70, 80 million to get a good CDM. There's 30 to 40 million pound CDMs that are much better than those two jelly beans.
No one has a lot of love for those jelly beans, to be fair. So who would you like to bring in? Who would be your ideal signing for a CDM?
It would be Rice. If we had the money, I would like to get Rice. He knows the league. He's a captain. He's a leader. He's just got that swagger about him. I like the fact that, we're mentioning now about the England dressing room with Sancho. We've got, 4 or 5 England United players in and around that squad. When we were a great United team, it was similar then as well. So yeah, Rice would be the one I'd go for. However, if we couldn't spend 70, 80 million to get Rice, because I think West Ham, are not going to do that deal on the cheap. He's in a long contract. Then there are other options. I would go straight for Basuma. I really think the guy is a baller in that position. I really do. He has had a great season. He can come into our midfield and really dominate that whole area for us.
But with we discussed like using Martial to get Varane. Like we do have Jesse Lingard, and I've got sources. I've one source. I can't believe I have one. I feel like Goldbridge. That says to me that that Leicester are in for Lingard as well. But if there is a chance to get Rice, who I do believe as well, Rice's first option would be Chelsea. But can we not use Messi Lingard as to get someone? Whether it could be Wilfred Ndidi from Leicester, because apparently there could be a move on there. It could be maybe use him to get Rice. Is there anything we can use him for one more time before we get rid of him?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Leicester, because this is something I was saying to a friend the other day. Their business model is that they sell one player pretty much every season. Mahrez went to Man City. Obviously, we've took Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
Why not try and do a deal for Ndidi? Why not? Especially if they're interested in Messi Lingard. Let's give him Lingard and a rucksack of money, and hopefully we can get Ndidi. I think there is a deal to be done there.
How much would you say?
Lingard and 40 mil?
That seems reasonable, which means we're going to give him Lingard, Martial, probably 120 million. That's just the way our board does it. That unfortunately.
Yeah.
But speaking of a midfield position, we're going to move on now to our next topic, which I don't know how much validity you hold in this. It went into the WhatsApp group this morning, and I kind of shook my head, but it does kind of make sense for the player. But rumours have it that Arsenal are making waves to try get the wonderful Donny van de Beek. They say don't sell to a direct rival, but I don't think we have to worry about Arsenal being a direct rival. So for another maybe 15 years. But how much do you hold on to that? Get your thoughts in the comments as well. Would you be concerned about Donny moving to Arsenal? Do you think it's just paper talk, or what are your thoughts? Get in the comments on that. But Jordan, for yourself, what do you believe?
Yeah, how sad and how far Arsenal have fallen as a club. Like,
try saying without smiling.
We've had some great battles with them over the years. I used to really look forward to the fixtures, the games against them. Now, I'm not even bothered at all. Like, what a dead team, dead fans. Like, Van de Beek, there's absolutely no chance he's going to go to Arsenal. No chance whatsoever. So why even make that call? Do you know what I mean? It's like an ex-girlfriend that's blocked you on everything, and your only way to contact her is like via Netflix. Who's watching account now? Like, just let it go. Like, it's not going to happen. So no, I think it's a dead story, and it's not going to go anywhere.
That's fair enough, and good analogy to your personal life as well. Always appreciate it. I'm not sure. Like, I guess Donny would suit their style of play more so than ours at this moment in time, because I am a bit concerned that he literally has been given. I think Van Dijk still has played more minutes than him, and he, has been injured since October. So, are you concerned? We'll take Arsenal off the table, because I don't think that could happen. I think the only way that would happen, it would be a loan, which I think might make sense. But we're not going to loan to Arsenal. But are you concerned about Van de Beek, his future, or do you think like this season was just him being trained in, basically?
I think the concern about Van de Beek is my concern about Ollie. So I have no doubts that Van de Beek has a place in the United team and could offer us something in the Premier League, but he just hasn't been given the game time, and definitely hasn't been given the game time in the right positions. So yeah, unfortunately, like, he's picked up the injury now, and I really hope he gets himself a good pre-season under his belt, and he can get the opportunities next season to really show us what he can do. Because I definitely think there's a player in there, but just not as a number 10.
Okay, well, he's not going to make that position at all. And he's probably third or fourth choice for there, so he needs to be retrained, and let's hope that they're doing. We have a comment here. Won't be surprising if Martial succeeds elsewhere. I think Martial need a complete team to shine. Our midfield is too useless. Even Pogba suffers. Martial into Fred. Oh, that's a good. Is that too harsh from Jack Hutton there, Jordan? Martial to French Balotelli.
Oh, that's savage. Yeah, no, he's not.
That is.
No, put some respect on Tony's name. I don't dislike the player. I think he's a good player. And like I said, on his day, he's great, but just too many off days for me. But to put him in the Balotelli bracket is absolutely savage.
Oh, Jack is really not holding back. It's early in the morning. Wait till we have a drink in before you bring in facts like that. On Donny van de Beek, DVB to Arsenal would prove just how incompetent of what's that? Is that incompetence of United's board over transfers and the lack of quality coach staff for not pushing Ollie to play VDB more last season. Why didn't he play more last season, Jordan? Which is kind of, I figured it would get, once we got to the new year, I was like, he's going to start playing, I saw him kind of playing European football mostly until maybe around the same time Dean Henderson became our number one. I expected Donny to be in the team around that time. So are you surprised that he's literally seen no football whatsoever?
Yeah, I am surprised. He came with a good reputation, the Van der Sar message saying, make sure you look after him and whatnot. So I had great hopes for him. I just feel like Ollie looked at him and thought he was a number 10. He was never going to dislodge Bruno. There was times where he came in for sort of 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and you looked at the other players on the pitch and they just didn't seem to trust him. They didn't pass him the ball. And one time he came on, he played up front almost like a second number 9. It just wasn't right. He needs to be in the pivot, pulling strings, being able to play those clever, intricate passes to link midfield to attack. So, yeah, I am surprised he hasn't played more. But again, I think that's down to Ollie looking at McFred and really trusting McFred.
Yeah, a comment from Sam here. If we lose Pogba, we'll be crying out for someone like VDB. Absolutely, because when he was bought, because I remember saying that I couldn't understand why he bought him, first of all. I'm like, okay, we need players off the bench and stuff like that. Absolutely. And he's a good player. And he showed in the Champions League that he has real quality. The step up from the Dutch league is massive. I think the last player really took the world by storm that came up was Luis Suarez. And we've seen a couple of their player of the years, with like Daley Blind was player of the year. He came over. He was good, but didn't set the world on fire. Memphis Depay was player of the year. Kind of did nothing as well. Davy Klaassen he went to, was it Spurs or Everton he went to? Same thing.
Everton won it.
Everton, yes. And he's gone back again. And Janssen at Spurs, like the step up is just, it's not like Van Nistelrooy 20 years ago where it was, there was a disparity, but it wasn't that massive.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised that he came. I was surprised that we bought him, but like I thought he was being bought to replace Pogba. As someone said there, like we'd be crying out for him. I thought Pogba would be gone this season and he would be coming in to replace him. But it really seems like we're a million miles away from that. It doesn't seem like that's when we're looking at Pogba going. Like you said, I'd want Grealish. You're not making the argument, well, we have got Danny van de Beek. So is there an air of you not exactly trusting him as well from what you've seen? Or how do you feel about that?
Sorry, about which part, sorry?
About the fact that you don't, you aren't set the world, he didn't set the world on fire. You're not seeing him as a replacement for Pogba. So what's your thoughts? Yeah,
I don't feel he's been given the time. Some players are rhythm players. They need sort of 8 to 10 games to get in and pick up a rhythm. He really hasn't had it. Giving him 5 minutes and 10 minutes here, or starting him with our B team in a cup game, you're not going to see the best out of him. And admittedly, there's been games that he has played and he hasn't looked the best. But I just feel like it's been in the wrong position. I feel like if we give him 8 to 10 games in our first team in the right position, we are then going to see Donny pull some strings.
And what the likelihood of that happening?
Slim to none.
Slim to none. It's all very negative. It's all very, very negative. I believe in Ali. I believe in Ali. I am concerned. I do feel that a move is, if Donny doesn't get any assurances, like the fact that he's not going to the Euros, I think pushes him out of a move happening. I didn't feel we'd sell him. I felt that because we spent so much on him, he's only been there for 1 season. He hasn't got the minutes. But I feel like a loan would have done him well. To who? I don't know. But I am a little bit concerned on that regard. And guys, what do you think is going to be Donny's future before we move on from this? And we have a comment here. Martial for Varane transfer. Sancho going to be the big one. Are CB and CDM the other positions to strengthen? And who do you think will sign with limited funds? So Jordan, on that one, okay, we'll say okay, we'll put some voodoo out in the world and say that we're doing a straight swap for Martial to Varane. Okay, that's happening. Okay.
Okay.
Where's your next position you're looking to strengthen? Is it the CDM that you're saying? Where else do we need to really, really improve on?
Yeah. CDM essential. And then backup for Wan-Bissaka out at right back, and hopefully that brings him on. That's what I would do. That isn't what's going to happen. I think we will We will get Sancho. I think that, like I said, it's dragged on so long. It literally is the Twilight Saga 2.0. But once we've got that deal done, I think we'll sign a right back, and I honestly think that's our transfer business done. I think it'll be 2 out and 2 in.
So who are the 2 out?
2 out. I think Lingard will go, and it wouldn't surprise me if it is a Mata or someone like that, someone on the fringes that will move on. I think Dalot's done as well, probably. Yeah. So maybe that'll be 3.
Yeah, and guys, before I read out this super chat here, on Dalot or Dalot, whichever way I want to pronounce it, I don't even think he knows. Get in the comments, should we be investing in Trippier, or should we be looking at Dalot to be the backup right back? Give us your thoughts. Was he given enough time under Ollie? Because he seemed to make the decision straight away that he just wasn't his player. So get your thoughts on Dalot in, and I'll read this one out. From Daniel, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Your guys' thoughts. Why does Ollie want a top-class striker when, in my opinion, Mason will become a top 5 in the world? But yeah, well, I don't actually think he is really looking for a top-class striker. I just think when Harry Kane, obviously he put it out there that he wanted to move, I think Man United have to be seen to be interested in, because Harry Kane, for me, is, if not the best, one of the top 3 strikers in the world. If we sign him, we are guaranteed, 40 goals a season across all competitions. So I feel like he needs to be in for that. And I don't think there was anyone really else we were in for, Jordan. Did you see anything? Would you agree with me on my Kane thoughts as well?
Yeah, if this was the United of old, we would be signing Harry Kane. That is the type of player we'd be linked to. Very similar to Alan Shearer back in the day. The best striker in the league, English, go for him. But this is the modern day Glazier Man United. They're not spending that money. It's not going to happen, and it's really, really unfortunate. And I can see where Ollie's coming from, where he's looking at it. He played with some of the best strikers Manchester United have ever had. So and he was a great striker himself. So he understands the difference of having an out-and-out number 9 up there, someone that sniffs goals, that is super hungry. You look at Van Nistelrooy. They say Van Nistelrooy would check his rival strikers' goals before he got on the team bus to see if they scored, because he wanted to finish top goal scorer every season. That's all he cared about. He lived for goals. Cavani's very similar to that, but we're catching Cavani at the tail end of his career. But I think that's showing us and showing the fans, because we haven't had it for a long time, what a great number 9 is. And yeah, if we could get the Harry Kane deal done, oh my God, that would be unbelievable.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't think it's going to happen whatsoever. I think it's just us basically getting in the race for a laugh more so than anything else. And I also feel people are I don't know. I think the Ronaldo thing is dead. I'm actually very curious to see where he goes next. Good old Cristiano. I think if we didn't sign Cavani to a new contract, that's the absolute the Glazers' wet dream would to get him back in a jersey, Man United jersey, especially because it wouldn't cost him. It'd be like 30 million or something like that for a season. But I think the fact that we have Cavani, that's done. That's dead. And I think the fact that we signed Cavani to a new contract, the fact that Greenwood's coming on really, really well, I just think buying Harry Kane, it's weird saying he's the best player in the world at that position. He's available. And I'm like, we don't need him. We need him, but he's the least important position we need to strengthen. We need to get around that.
Yeah, and I think the rumours coming out of Old Trafford is that the board worked so hard to get that Cavani deal done. He'd made his mind up. He was going home. He wanted to go back to his family, which is totally understandable. But they worked overtime, double time to get that deal done, convince him to stay. For them to get him to stay and then go and sign a striker, it's not a good look.
It's not a good look at all. We have a wonderful comment in from Garev. Sorry if I pronounce your name. I'm really sorry. I'm bad with my own name even. We need to play DVB in number 8 with a CDM, Basuma or Ndidi, and as centre attack midfielder as Bruno/Pogba. Simple. We are forgetting Pogba's best season was at attacking midfield. That's very true. I completely forgot about that year when he was our top goal scorer in the league with 13 goals from that position. I do think it's going to be hard to get that is just Bruno's position now, but we saw obviously Pogba show probably his best form in a while playing off the left, which is, it's good to have worries there about who's going to be starting because you want the best player in the best position possible. But do you feel like that is a possibility of seeing Donny in a number 8 and then allowing Pogba to move further up the field?
Not under Ollie. I just really think that Ollie makes his mind up very early on certain players that he trusts and certain players that he doesn't trust. And just from the way he's handled Donny this season, he just doesn't fancy him. And there's lots of rumors coming out that he wasn't his signing, and he doesn't fancy him. And I really hope he gives him another 12 months. And then we get to see the best of him. I really feel he needs that 8 to 10 games in the number 8 to see what he can offer the team. But again, we don't know what's going to happen with Pogba. I really think, he's going to run his contract down.
Oh, no, Jordan. I'm not hearing it. He's not running it down. He loves the club. He's here forever, okay? I have a theory, okay? I have a theory, all right? And you're going to get it now. And this theory got 5 likes on Twitter, so you know it's a fact, okay? I think that Pogba will sign a new contract. I think the reason he'll do so is because once we buy Sancho, he shows that we're progressing as a club, and then he's waiting for Sancho to sign so he can match those wages. That's my theory, because talks have opened. Don't furrow your brow with me, okay? He wants to get as much money as possible out of the club. So once Sancho comes in, he's getting whatever, 300, 400 grand a week, whatever he's getting. Pogba will be like, I want that and more, as soon I've been here for a while. That's what my theory is.
Why does he need to wait for someone to come in when De Gea sat on that money anyway?
Because if he agrees to go to De Gea's numbers and then Sancho comes in with 20 grand, 30 grand more, then the bargaining tool is gone. So once Sancho comes, he can say, well, he's the top paid player of the club. I want to match those wages. Right. Look, I could be clutching at straws, all right? Just give me something.
Absolutely clutching with both hands there. Like, reaching out and clutching. No, it's not going to happen. And I don't blame Pogba. I blame his agent. No, yeah. It's Riola's business model. Run your contract down, and then we can negotiate with whoever we want to, and we can get you big money moves.
Yeah, okay. I don't like your negativity. He loves the club and he's here forever, and that's the end of it, Jordan. Everyone in the comments just agree with me, don't agree with Jordan. Blind optimism this morning, guys, everyone. Blind optimism. Comment here, why a top striker? Because MG... Mason Greenwood will develop into a top striker beside and with a top striker in the team to learn and watch. Well, look, Edinson Cavani is a top class striker. He mightn't have ever been at the same level as Kane. Well, maybe not consistently, but he definitely knows so much about the game and so much that he can teach, even if he doesn't speak the language. But you can see that on the pitch. I think there's no one better for Greenwood to learn off of than Cavani. Would you be the same as me on a teaching point of view? Would you agree with me?
Yeah, I think his professionalism, the way he trains, the way he looks after himself, they're all the things that Mason needs to learn from. It's not just on the pitch, it's off the pitch as well that he can learn from him. But his movement is the way he can drag defenders. Again, these are all things that he can learn off of. What's important now is that Mason gets games as a number 9 while Cavani, is still about. Do you know what I mean? So he's not just put out on the wing. We still try and use him as much as we can as a number 9. So he's still bedding into that position and going into it. But I do feel like Mason Greenwood is an absolute baller, a natural goal scorer, and he will go on to be our number 9 for years to come.
So you would be optimistic on that regard. Would you be happy with the fact that we're not going in for Kane? Look, we're never going to buy him. Like, I even look back at when we signed Van Persie. And Ferguson speaking, I think after his retirement, being like he had to sit down with the board and basically convince them that buying the best player in the world, the best striker in the league, to guarantee his goals, to come over, who wanted to sign for us, was a good idea. At what, 27, 28 million, because there was no resale value. So if you had to convince them I get that was more money back then, but like if you're looking at 100, dealing with Daniel Levy, where we actually have to convince the player to come, we're looking at 150 million. It's just not happening. Do you know what I mean? It's just not ever happening.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Kane is a better striker right now than Cavani and Greenwood. Yeah. If you could get the deal done, you would get the deal done. But we have to be realistic and understand. We know where our board's at. There's no way in a million years they're going to spend 150 million to bring a player in, like you said, with no resale value. It isn't going to happen, especially when we have an option now in Cavani that's ready and here now, and we have a future with Greenwood. So yeah, if there are other areas of the team that need investment, then I totally agree that 150 million should be invested in other parts of the team.
Absolutely. Garev is back in. Thanks so much for commenting again, Garev. Again, apologies if I'm saying your name incorrect. Another solution Ollie can try, but I doubt will be playing Bruno false 9 with a CDM right-sided midfielder as Donny van de Beek and a left-sided midfielder with left wing Rashford and right wing Sancho. Hopefully when we get Sancho. Touch on that a little bit. How do you feel we can get the three guys in midfield together? We can get Pogba, Bruno, and Donny. Is there an opportunity that can actually work, do you believe?
I think the only way to find out is to actually try it. And we've not tried it. I do have my doubts about trying to play Van de Beek and Pogba as the two. I think it needs to be a CDM in order to see the best out of either of them. So yeah, that isn't something I would do. But just quickly, we need to just move on to some of the other stories today. So just conscious of time.
Yes, so, it's the big bad Sancho.
Yes.
Yes, it's like you said, it's the Twilight series. It's Lord of the Rings. It's the Star Wars trilogy. It's been going on for a lifetime. As of what we saw very recently, we're down to 11 million in difference in valuation. When do you think this is happening? It is happening. I'm going to believe that it will happen.
Yeah. Well, look, there's stories coming out this morning that Sancho's 80 million move is the talk of the England dressing room. And if you listen carefully, you could hear Ben White at the distance saying, yeah, but what about me? Get me with you. So, yeah, now the fact that the players are talking about it, I think it is a lot closer. There's a rumour as well that Dortmund have turned down the add-on for the Ballon d'Or. Which they want more guaranteed money and less with add-ons. So you can understand where they're coming from. I know there's other transfers in the past where we were talking about winning the Champions League and we'll pay you a bit more money. Clubs don't believe that we're going to be competing at that level. I don't blame it. Dortmund are looking, going, yeah, we'll give you Sancho, but as long as you've got Fred and McTominay in that team, no one's looking like a world beater around them. So I can understand why they want fixed money rather than taking it in add-ons. But the fact that we're getting down to the nitty-gritty means that this deal is close. I think with a new shirt sponsor coming in, it makes sense that we get that pin-up, that glory signing. And I wouldn't be surprised that, if the deal is pretty much done behind the scenes and they're just waiting to announce so they can hold the new shirt up.
And I completely agree with you on that. I was hoping, because it seemed like we made a lot of progress in the last couple of days. I was hoping we would get this deal done before the Euros, just so we have it confirmed, so we can look forward to getting more players in. And I feel, love him or hate him, in the end, Mourinho said we needed to sell Martial. We needed a good centre back, and he did push Luke Shaw. I'm going to come back to that one after I finish what I was saying, because I thanks so much for commenting in, Jason, but I don't actually agree with 900% of what Mourinho did at the club. So we'll touch on that in a second. But on Jadon Sancho, I feel this will happen. I'm dying for it to happen. I kind of feel like we're suffering from Sancho fatigue, where I think we already feel that he's a member of the club and he's already our player, and that's where we're already playing down how significant of a signing he will be. And so how excited are you to finally get this over the line, and how much do you think he will improve the club when he does hopefully sign very soon?
Do you know, I'm one of the few people that isn't massively over the moon about the Sancho signing. Yeah, I want it to happen, and it's great that we're going to sort out the right wing position. But there's so many other areas that I feel like we need sorting before we spend our money. However, I am looking forward to him coming in. I think he will be great signing. He will lift the squad, and that's what it is. At the end of each season, I remember reading Roy Keane's autobiography, and they're saying, they just won the league, but they were always excited to see who was going to come through the door, because it would raise everyone's spirits and raise everyone's game. I don't feel like with the signings that we made last season, that happened, and everyone felt like they needed to raise their game. So someone like Sancho coming through with all the hype around him, coming from Dortmund, one title, he hasn't won titles over there, but he's done well over there. Lots of goals, lots of assists, him coming to the changing room. Other players like your Rashfords, Greenwood, maybe Martial will look at that and go, do you know what? I need to raise my game and show him what I'm about. Yeah.
Ben White for 50 million in daylight robbery. Absolutely. But when you're Man Utd, you tend to get robbed a lot for centre backs. I am on the Sorry. Okay. We're closing up now in the next 5 minutes or so, guys. So get your thoughts in on the wonderful Sancho. How excited are you for him signing, and how much you think he will lift the club? And something you touched upon there, Jordan, with like Roy Keane said in his autobiography, that it's who is the next player coming in, how much it will affect him, how much it will lift his spirit. Who do you think was the last player we signed that had that effect?
Definitely Bruno. Definitely Bruno. Yeah, Bruno lifted the whole club. Bruno took us from being competing for, sixth, seventh place to us being now a second place team. That's what it takes. He's the first Avenger. That is who he is. But what we now need to do is follow that up with another 2 or 3 signings to the same level, same standard, that raises the other players on the pitch in different positions. A CDM will do that, and another good centre-back will do that. So definitely, guys, can we make sure that we hit the like button and subscribe as well, guys? Lots of people watching, nearly 5,000 people watching right now. Yeah,
I absolutely... Jordan, yes, please, everyone like. If you like us, like the video. If you don't like us, like the video as well, please. I'm absolutely loving the film references you're throwing out. And Bruno as the first Avenger, interesting shout. I thought he would a bit more of an Iron Man-esque sort of vibe I got off him, but I'll take it. For me, I think it will be a huge lift. I think bringing in Sancho will show us teams around the world that we are a team that is growing. Do you know what I mean? A young, tough, strong player who can bring in assists, who can bring in goals, and just a bit of creativity, because I felt we were focusing way too much on Bruno and Pogba last season. So just having that extra outlet, I think, will be massive. And I'm really, really excited. But I will admit, yes, Bruno first Avenger, Captain America, for anyone who doesn't know. I am very, very excited to get this over the line finally. I do feel I'm suffering a little bit from the fatigue of it all, that I just want to get it done. I want to look forward to the next players. And I really, really hope he has a good Euros. Do you think the Euros are important for him now to really show us? He's our player now. Well, hopefully he will be soon by the time he kicks off. Is it his chance to show the world that he means business? Because he obviously didn't play at the World Cup. This will be the first time, and a lot of Manchester United fans will get to see him play a full 90 minutes, and show his stuff. So do you think the Euros are important for him?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a chance for him to showcase what he's about. It's also a chance for him to link up with the United players that hopefully he's going to go on to be teammates with on a club level. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the England games. Admittedly, I'm not looking forward to Goldbridge's reaction when England win, but I am looking forward to seeing those players deliver.
Yeah, I really, really hope there's some way that just the United players can play well, Goldbridge is miserable, and so are England in some way. If that could happen in some crazy world, I think that is the best thing for all of us. But guys, I think we have come to the end of the show now. Thank you so much, wherever you've been watching. Please share it around, get in the comments, like the video, and share the love. So wherever we're watching, we're all Wales tonight. And we are indeed, especially you, Jordan.
Yeah, guys, make sure you join me and Mark Goldbridge from 1:30 on Mass Football. We're going to be doing the Switzerland-Wales watch-along. And when are you on next, Joe?
I'm on 5 o'clock.
Okay. Who with? And what are you watching?
Oh, I am watching on the spot. Oh, no, what am I watching again? Hold on. I don't want to get them mixed up. I am watching with Craig, Denmark and Finland.
Wicked. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time, okay?